Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Operation Smooth podcast. On today's telecast, I'm going to be bringing you a very important Barclays Premier League matchup today. Today's matchup is going to feature the team that right now is tied for the league lead in the Premier League, Arsenal, and they will be matching up this afternoon against Newcastle United. Thank you to everybody that's watching me today on TikTok and on YouTube Live. For those of you that are watching me on TikTok Live, if you want to see the scoreboard and everything that I've got set up, go to my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. So you can see the scoreboard as soon as the game begins. But for now, let's take a look at the Barclays Premier League standings. And this is the importance of this match, in particularly for the home team, the Gunners. Man, they are slipping. They are slipping. They had a 9-point lead at the start of April, and as you can see by the standings, it is tied. Manchester City right now are leading. The goal difference is the same. Both teams have played 33 matches, 21 wins, 7 draws, 5 defeats for each squad. A plus 37 goal difference for both teams. Both teams with 70 points. Manchester United behind them with 58 points. Liverpool in fourth with 58 points. Aston Villa, who lost today, they are sitting at 58 points. I guess mathematically speaking, I guess I'm going to say that Liverpool is eliminated from winning the league. With that being said, I guess technically Manchester City mathematically is still in the hunt to win the league title. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. The goal differential is too much. So it's going to come down to Manchester City and Arsenal. And let's be honest, the pressure is on Mikel Arteta. Arsenal was contending for a quadruple: the Premier League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. Manchester City beat Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final. Arsenal gets eliminated by Southampton in the FA Cup. They do have the Champions League semi-final against Atletico Madrid coming up later on this week. And despite Arsenal's struggles, I do give them a chance to advance, but Atletico Madrid's offense, I think, is a little bit better, so it'll be interesting. I think it's going to be one of those deals where you're going to have 2-0-0 draws, and it's probably going to come down to penalty kicks. The other semifinal is going to be sizzling. PSG versus uh, Bayern Munich. I'm going to go with Bayern Munich on that one. Vincent Company has really got that squad rolling. Michael Olise, Harry Kane. I mean, that squad is complete from top to bottom. But again, let's get back to this Premier League matchup. Newcastle United. Let's be honest, they've had a disappointing season as they sit in 14th place. They really have nothing to play for, and I believe that manager Eddie Howe is he's kind of a bit under fire, but he's not as under fire as Mikel Arteta is. The last 3 years, Arsenal have finished second in the Barclays Premier League. In 2023 and 24, they finished second to Manchester City. Last year, they finished second to Liverpool. Liverpool, who kind of came out of nowhere in the last year and won the Premier League. So the pressure is squarely on Arsenal right now, especially after last week's really devastating loss, 2-1 to Manchester City. Now, before we continue, let's take a look. Let me move my camera around here. Let's take a look at the projected starting lineups for each squad. Again, if you want to see what I'm doing here, just get on my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. These are the lineups as we are about to head into kickoff. Arsenal, uh, not their best lineup. This is pretty much the lineup that they used last week against Manchester City. I don't know what's going on with the front of the lineup, but I'll get to that. David Raya, can't blame him for Arsenal's woes. He's been one of the best, if not the best, goalkeeper this season. The back four is the same as last week. Piero Hincapié at left back. The great center back tandem, of Gabriel and Saliba. With that being said, Gabriel had an absolutely horrific game last week against Manchester City. I think Saliba held his own, but Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. Ben White is going to start at right back in place of Christian Mosquera, who started last week's game against Man City. It says a lot about Ben White that he didn't start the game against Manchester City. I mean, but uh, you have the injuries to Jurian Timber as the right back. You have the injury to Calafiori um, at left back. You have the injury to Bakayo Saka, who seems to be getting injured more and more. That's definitely playing. That definitely has a factor as far as Arsenal's woes. Then you have the two-man midfield of Declan Rice and Zubamendi. Zubamendi, I don't think played all that great last week. Then you have the two wingers, Eze and Madueke. Madueke was absolutely horrible against Manchester City last week. Got subbed on at halftime in place of Martinelli. Martin Odegaard is going to play behind the striker. Martin Odegaard was not, in my opinion, very impressive last week either. Ebericha Eze is going to play on the left wing. I think that Mikel Arteta should not have substituted him last week. I think Odegaard should have come off, and I think that was probably the substitution that cost them the game. Eze was starting to come into his own last week during the game. And then Kai Havertz up front again in place of Victor Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres joined Arsenal for £60 million, and in the big games, he is starting on the bench. Amazing. For Newcastle United, you've got Pope as the goaltender. Sven Botman and Thiaw are going to be the center backs. Dan Burn, left back. Lewis Miley, a good young player. He's going to be at center back. Newcastle with a three-man midfield. Willock on the left. Sandro Tonali, who's excellent. He's in the middle. Bruno Guimaraes is going to be the captain. He's going to be playing as the right-sided midfielder. Ramsey, Osula, and Murphy are going to be the front three. I'm going to be honest. I really don't know a whole lot about the front three of Newcastle United. Again, there were high hopes for the Magpies this season. With that being said, excuse me. With that being said, a disappointing season for Newcastle United. If I'm being honest, I really thought that they would have a top, maybe a top six finish. But unfortunately, again, not a great season for Newcastle United right now. They're sitting in 14th, really nothing to play for at this point. They're not going to get relegated, but they also will not contend for any European spots after this season. All right, so let's move this out of the way. And in just a few minutes, we will have kickoff between Arsenal and Newcastle United. Again, all the pressure is on Arsenal and all the pressure is on Mikel Arteta. I'm going to keep it honest. If this is just my opinion, in order for Mikel Arteta to stay on as Arsenal manager, they're gonna have to win the Premier League. Newcastle United. Now, if they win, let's say they win the Premier League, advance to the Champions League final, and somehow Arsenal win their first ever Champions League, at that point, I mean, can you really sack Mikel Arteta? I would say no. I think Mikel Arteta, excuse me, would have to stay on as manager of Arsenal. But right now, it's not looking good. And if I'm being honest, the fan base of Arsenal is really up in arms. I think they've had enough of the fourth place finishes. If Manchester City hold on and win the Premier League, that'll be again the fourth year in a row that Arsenal finished second in the Barclays Premier League, and that is not the quadruple that Arsenal was looking for. Now, do I think a team is going to win the quadruple? In England, I would say no. I know Barcelona won the sextuple back in 2009, but people don't really realize just how hard winning a treble is. Manchester City won the treble in 2023, and then of course everybody remembers, those of us old enough to remember, the Manchester United treble of 1999. Inter Milan managed to do the treble in Italy in 2010, and then like I said, Manchester City under Pep Guardiola managed to win the treble in 2023. Another league title is on the horizon for Pep Guardiola. I believe it will be his seventh or his eighth as a coach of Manchester City. I'd have to verify that. With that being said, look, Pep Guardiola is the greatest manager of all time. In the 4 seasons he was at Barcelona, won 3 La Liga titles, finished second in his last season. He takes a year off, goes to Germany, goes to Bayern Munich for 3 years, wins 3 straight Bundesliga titles with Bayern Munich, and then he comes to Manchester City. I believe that was the 2016-17 season, if I'm not mistaken. Chelsea won the league that year. I believe Manchester City finished third. And then after that, it was just domination. 2017-18, 2018-19. Then in 2020, Liverpool won it. And then after that, 4 more Premier League titles in a row. And then last year, Liverpool won. So this would be Pep Guardiola's seventh Premier League title if Manchester City hang on and win it this year, which again, it's looking really good right now. And again, with all due respect to Alex Ferguson, to Carlo Ancelotti, Jose Mourinho, Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley, Brian Clough, um, and many other great managers that I have not mentioned at this point, Pep Guardiola, just off the league titles alone, is the greatest manager, at least in my lifetime. Again, anybody that's watching this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are, if you are watching on, if you're watching me on TikTok, please hop on to my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. Uh, join the chat. I got it popped up here. I'm ready to hear what your thoughts are and kickoff for Arsenal and Newcastle United is about to begin. And I thank you again for joining me on the Operation Smooth podcast. Again, one more time, I'm on YouTube. I'll have the scoreboard and everything on the screen. Join me on that channel and hit me up in the chat. Uh, let's see this. Let's see if on TikTok it's showing if anybody's watching. Uh, let's see. Okay, I got a bunch of people joining the channel, but this TikTok live is like extremely complicated. Especially for me, I'm kind of an older person, as you can tell, so this technology is it's kind of wild. But here we go. Kickoff is about to begin at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal, with a win against Newcastle United, will go 3 points clear of Manchester City and will regain the lead in the Barclays Premier League. But as you all know, Manchester City will have a game in hand. Uh-oh. Already. Oh, Newcastle almost gets a shot there, but a great block by Saliba. Now out to Madueke, to Odegaard. Odegaard. Back to Gabriel. Gabriel to Incapié. Eze on the left. Zubamendi. Plenty of space on the wing. Back to Incapié. Eze, and that is cleared up by Newcastle. I don't know the names of all the Newcastle players, but I'll figure it as I go along here. Odegaard cuts into the middle, but that's all the way back to Pope. There's Oula, the striker. Excellent block by William Saliba. That's a goal kick. Saliba heads it. Declan Rice. Odegaard. Odegaard. Met by Tonali. Back to Dan Burn. Back to Tonali. Two minutes into this matchup. Dan Burn. Botman. Tonali. Looks like that's Lewis Miley. Saliba gets in front of Murphy. Back to Arsenal. Zubamendi. Declan Rice. Ben White. Not a lot of pressure by Ramsey. Osula. Now to Eze. Back to Eze. Eze dropping into the midfield. Saliba. Declan Rice. Odegaard, the captain. Back to Odegaard. Odegaard way back in Arsenal's penalty area. Zubamendi on the touchline, met by two Newcastle players. And now stripped. Now Tonali. Oh, Guimaraes almost scored for Newcastle. Would have been devastating. Would have been devastating for Arsenal. Now Saliba. We're 3.5 minutes in, and Newcastle's already gotten, well, one shot on target. Cleared by Arsenal. Oh, that's a good pass, but a little too strong towards Kai Havertz. All the way back to Pope. Pope. Botman. Bruno Guimaraes, the captain. Willock. Back to Guimaraes. Thiaw. Sir Murphy on the left wing, met by Hincapié. Good block by Hincapié. It's off of Murphy, and it'll be a throw-in for Arsenal. 4.5 minutes into this first half. Again, if you're watching on TikTok, please join my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. And you can watch my you can watch me live. Declan Rice. That's out of bounds, and that's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle United. I have to say, so far in these first 5 minutes, Newcastle United have been the better team. The ball's been at the Arsenal defensive side of the pitch so far. There's Miley. Now there's a counterattack. Odegaard. Kai Havertz on the right wing. Havertz should have crossed it, but now he crosses it off of Tonali. And that'll be a corner for the Gunners. That'll be Arsenal's first corner of the game as we hit the 6-minute part of the first half. And let's see if Arsenal, obviously a team that has mastered the art of the set piece. There's Gabriel. 16 goals scored from corners this season. Madueke will take corner. Arsenal attacking from left to right on the screen. Short corner to Odegaard. To Eze. Odegaard. Ben White. To Madueke. Space on the ring. Low cross. Cleared out by Newcastle. Good clearance by Thiaw. And that'll be another corner for Arsenal. So again, Arsenal attacking from left to right on the screen. Newcastle in their traditional black and white strips. They are attacking from right to left. Arsenal take corner on the lower right-hand of the screen. Short corner again to Odegaard. Eze with the left foot shot. Just wide. And that'll be a goal kick for Newcastle United. So Arsenal now asserting themselves just a little bit here. And they miss out on their first opportunity. Man, in that Manchester City game, Eze with left-footed shot, it hit the post and it goes across the goal mouth. If that shot had gone in and Arsenal had gone up 2-1, who knows how much different that Arsenal versus Manchester City game could have turned out. Also, Gabriel hit the post as well. Oh, there's some space. Madueke, blazing speed. Great tackle there in the penalty box by Thiaw. And that'll be another corner for Arsenal. So far in these first few minutes, Madueke doing better than anything he did against Manchester City. He was getting tortured by Nico Riley and by Jeremy Doku. Same thing for Christian Mosquera, but in defense of Christian Mosquera, he's not a right back. So again, I'm not making excuses for Arsenal, but not having Jurriën Timber and Bukayo Saka playing, Pep Guardiola masterfully positioned Doku and Nico Riley on left and exploited that matchup. Another short corner. This into the penalty box to Kai Havertz. Havertz, Eze, Arsenal! Eberiche Eze scores for the Gunners. And as it stands right now, Arsenal back atop the Barclays Premier League. Sweet work by Arsenal on that corner kick. Usually they'll do like an in-swing corner, but this time around, they tried a little different approach. So Madueke takes the corner. Havertz in the penalty box. Eze just outside the penalty box. No Newcastle United player marked him. They were all just staring at Havertz. Oh, beautiful curled shot. And it's 1-0 Arsenal. Mikel Arteta hyped, as he should be. Man, if the Gunners don't win the title, I know they lost to Manchester City. They did lose earlier to Manchester United, which, by the way, that was a great match. But not finishing off the game against Wolves and losing to Bournemouth. I think those are the two games that if Arsenal don't win the league, that's going to come back to haunt them. But as it stands now, Arsenal atop the Premier League with 73 points. Of course, they have played one more game, this being the game in hand, so to speak. One game more than Manchester City. Manchester City, I know they're going to play Everton. They're going to play Crystal Palace. And I know they're going to play Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa is going to have something to say on that last day. And then we don't know when City's going to play Crystal Palace. I know they've got Southampton, I believe, tomorrow in the FA Cup semifinal. The other semifinal of the FA Cup, Chelsea Leeds. And then Arsenal this week, they do have the first leg of the Champions League semifinal against Atletico Madrid. Guimaraes, plenty of space. Declan Rice and Zubamendi not closing him down. Now Declan Rice does. Back to Tonali. Tonali playing in between the two central midfielders. There's Botman. Now Dan Burn. Ramsey. Botman. Tiao. Miley. Now back to Tonali near the center circle. Miley. Murphy. Stripped by Arsenal. Madueke tries to get it to Kai Havertz to no avail. Murphy, Lewis Miley, Tonali, back to Miley. Tiao. Now Botman at the center circle, pressured by Eze. Madueke. Back to Pope. Murphy. Willock. And that's out. That'll be a throw into Newcastle United. I'm looking at my other screen here because I'm not familiar with the Newcastle United lineup. I think this is the first time I've done a watch along for a Newcastle United matchup. I believe that's Lewis Miley with the throw in. Good young prospect. Out to Tonali. Tonali with the cross into the penalty box. But there's David Raya in front of Tiao. Oh, that was clear interference by Osula, interfering with the goal kick by David Raya. David Raya voicing some frustrations with the ref. Looks like he's wanting to get a card issued, but yeah, that was clear interference by Osula. That should have probably been a yellow card. Goal kick all the way out to Kai Havertz. That's off of Newcastle. Now it goes all the way back to Saliba. Odegaard. Madueke. Ben White. William Saliba. To Eze in the middle. Good passing. But Kai Havertz tries to get a little cute. That pass is picked off by Murphy to Lewis Miley. Lewis Miley, Botman. Arsenal cranking up the pressure. Guimaraes. Three Arsenal players around him. Gets it out to Dan Burn. Dan Burn in space. Osula. Ramsey. Ramsey met by Zubamendi. Guimaraes. Now Guimaraes. To Murphy on the right wing. Murphy with the cross. Headed clear. Osula met by Madueke. The bottom corner of the screen. Cross. Cleared by Gabriel Jesus. Now Eze against Miley. Oh, just missed the pass. Now Tonali. Willock. Miley. Sandro Tonali. Cross. Headed out by Saliba. Scramble outside of the penalty area. Tonali. Arsenal asking for a handball, and it looks like it is a handball. And it'll be a free kick to Arsenal 15 minutes into this matchup. 1-0 Gunners. Now there's a look at Eddie Howe, the manager of Newcastle United. I think he's under fire. Newcastle United not having the season that they expected. Last year, they did win the League Cup, their first major trophy in 7 years. But unfortunately, this season, it doesn't seem like Newcastle have been able to build on that success. All right. Saliba holding off Osula. Now, Odegaard dropping into the midfield for support. Now, Declan Rice. Zubamendi. Back to Odegaard. Oh, that's a good long pass towards Kai Havertz. Looks like it was offsides, though, but cleared out by Pope. Declan Rice with the header. Now Murphy. Now Lewis Miley. Guimares. Murphy. Murphy met by Incapié. Lewis Miley. Guimares. Botman. Tiao. Willock. Now Willock on the right side. Crossed by Miley, but met by David Raya. Good work there by David Raya. Now Arsenal looking to counterattack, but David Raya is going to hold the ball. Sends it long to Kai Havertz. Met by Tiao. Guimares. Dan Burn cutting inside. Ramsey to Willock on the wing. Gets by Ben White. Oh, what a good shot, but saved by David Raya. Nice work there by Willock. Now Declan Rice. Arsenal looking to counterattack. Eze. Zubamendi. Back to Gabriel. William Saliba. Zubamendi. Back to Gabriel. David Raya. No pressure by Newcastle United on the keeper until now. Tonali moves forward. Saliba. Back to David Raya. This has been the complaint of Arsenal fans. David Raya seeing too much of the ball and Arsenal doing a lot of side-to-side passing as opposed to passing the ball forward. Now Declan Rice back in his own penalty area. Now he carries the ball forward and he's carrying it into the center of the pitch. Now Odegaard. Thank you, Evan, for your support. Again, go to my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. Eze, low cross, met by Tiao. Good low cross by Eze. Now Murphy for Newcastle. Newcastle with a chance to counterattack. That pass is blocked by Declan Rice. Back to Tiao. Sandro Tonali. Botman. For Ramsey. Tonali. Tiao. Newcastle kind of look like they're playing a back five with Tonali in the middle supporting the midfield, but that strip by Zubamendi. Odegaard. Madueke, cutting inside. Oh, he should have took the shot. Now it's Odegaard gets stripped in the penalty box. Back out to Ben White. Ben White back to Saliba. Saliba to Madueke. Madueke had a shot there and didn't take it. Now it looks like Madueke is cutting, playing more in the middle of the midfield. Zubamendi. Declan Rice. Odegaard. Looking for Ben White. Doesn't find him. Passes too long. And that will be a goal kick for Newcastle United. So Madueke cutting inside. Acting more of a playing more of a central midfield role at this moment. But that'll be a goal kick for Newcastle United. Subamendi with the header. Ramsey. Now Tiao. Tonali. Again, like I said, looks like Newcastle are sending the fullbacks forward, and they're kind of playing a back three. Dan Burn. Dan Burn with the tries the long pass to Osula. That's met by Saliba, who sends it back to David Raya. Now Saliba trying to push forward. Zubamendi. Zubamendi with the long pass. Madueke. Looks like he stayed onside. Madueke with the left-footed shot. A weak left-footed shot. And Nodi Madueke just joined Arsenal, just can't seem to get going. But I'll say this, he is playing better in these first 22 minutes than he did last week against Manchester City. Zubamendi, Havertz, Odegaard, Dan Burn, back to Pope. Pope tries to clear it. Zubamendi, Ben White, Odegaard. Good tackle. Looks like that was Botman with the tackle. Now Newcastle, Tonali, Osula, met by Ben White and Saliba. That's a foul on William Saliba. And that'll be a free kick for Newcastle United. Newcastle United attacking from right to left on your screen. So it'll be on the lower left-hand corner of Arsenal's penalty area. And I believe that's going to be Newcastle United's first free kick of this matchup. Free kick is going to be taken by Bruno Guimaraes. Headed up by Hincapié. That shot by Ramsey. Well wide. And it'll be a goal kick for Arsenal. I'm surprised with all the pressure that Mikel Arteta is under. I'm surprised that his hair isn't all white at this point, kind of like mine's is. All right, back to the action. Okay, that's off of that's how there'll be a throw in for Arsenal. Hincapié with the throw in. Again, Arsenal attacking from left to right on the screen with the red shirts. Newcastle United, the visiting team, in the striped white and black jerseys. Saliba, Declan Rice, Zubamendi. Looks like Arsenal are going to play three at the front with Eze, Odegaard, and Havertz. Newcastle applying pressure. Good move by Zubamendi. Now Odegaard. Madueke getting around Burn. Oh, good pass by Odegaard to Zubamendi. But very good defending as well by Newcastle, and it's out for a corner kick. As a throw-in. Ben White, Saliba, Odegaard. Back to Ben White. Odegaard. Eze taken down. No whistle. Tries to pass it to Madueke, but Pope is there. As we go into the second phase of the first half, we're almost 30 minutes in. Arsenal leading 1-0. A beautiful right-footed shot by Eze, burn for Newcastle. Ramsey dispossessed by Zubamendi. Now, Havertz, Madueke on the right wing to Havertz. Madueke. Oh, Zubamendi tried to get cute with that pass, but cleared by Newcastle. And it goes all the way back to David Raya. Declan Rice now. Gabriel to Zubamendi. Zubamendi to Eze. The goal scorer tries to get it to Kai Havertz, but Botman is there. Out to Tiao. Tiao. Back to Pope. Pope looking to clear it. And he does. Osula can't get to it. It goes back to Gabriel. Gabriel probably should have gotten sent off for that headbutt on Erling Haaland last week. Gabriel did not have a great game against Manchester City. That was a key factor in Arsenal's loss. As a taken down near the center circle, and that'll be a free kick for Arsenal. Arsenal have not lost 3 straight Premier League matches in about 4 years. Bukayo Saka is warming up. Had an Achilles injury. The Emirates Stadium crowd on their feet for their star player. Now, back to the action. Madueke, low cross, cleared by Newcastle. That'll be a throw in for Arsenal. But I'll say this, Madueke has had an overall good first half, and so have Martin Odegaard. Odegaard, who didn't show up at all, in my opinion, last week against Man City. Both of them have shown fight so far. Odegaard. Eze. Cleared by Newcastle. Now Newcastle trying to go on the counter with Willock. All the way down the pitch. Cross off of Saliba. And that'll be a corner for Newcastle United. Newcastle United's first corner of this first half. That corner will be taken from the bottom right corner of your screen. Again, if you are watching me on TikTok, please join me on my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast, and there you'll be able to get all the scoreboard and all the graphics. All right, so looks like it's going to be Guimarães taking Newcastle United's first corner. Big scramble, but looks like Arsenal clears it. Gabriel heads it out. Declan Rice, but it's to Tonali. Tonali with the long shot. What a save by Gabriel. By David Raya. Excellent save by David Raya. Superb shot by Tonali. And Osula, had it not been for Gabriel, Osula might have gotten to that ball. Looks like David Raya kind of misplayed the angle, but still a great save. Now, Guimarães for Newcastle. Newcastle now showing a little fight. Tiao. Botman. Okay, now it goes back to Dan Pope. Tiao. Guimarães. Miley. Tiao. Guimarães. Good pass. In the penalty area. Oh, that looked like that was a little too aggressive on Osula by Gabriel, but there is a Newcastle player down. Looks like it's Willock. It is. Declan Rice took him down. There's a look at Eberiche as a beautiful goal. So next time Arsenal take a corner, Newcastle, they're going to have to pay attention, very close attention to Eberiche Eze. On that goal, Newcastle United asleep at the wheel, and Eberiche Eze, beautiful right-footed shot, just inside of the far post. And Arsenal lead 1-0 as we reach the 32nd minute of the first half. Okay, there's a Arsenal player down. Looks like it's Kai Havertz and Victor Gyökeres is warming up. Kai Havertz looks like he's pointing to his groin area. So we'll see if Kai Havertz will be able to continue. And if he's not able to continue, it looks like Victor Gyökeres will be coming on. Again, if you're watching me on TikTok Live, please join my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. Kai Havertz coming off the pitch. His body language is saying he might not come back, but we'll see. Looks like he'll just be looked at for treatment. Unless Mikel Arteta is going to go ahead and pull the trigger. All right, no. Kai Havertz is done. He's done for the night. Done for the afternoon, excuse me. A nice ovation by the Emirates crowd. Now Victor Gyökeres will come on for the Gunners. So he'll be playing as the striker. 12 goals this season. Why he only played 6 minutes against Man City, I don't know. All right. Long kick by David Raya. Zubamendi wins that scramble. Lots of space. Now, Hincapié, low cross. Pass was just not on target. Cleared out by Newcastle. Now, Declan Rice. Gabriel pushing up. Tries to get it to Madueke. Too strong. Good kick for Newcastle United. Again, I can't even imagine the amount of pressure that Mikel Arteta has got to be feeling. Missing out on two trophies. You know, the Carabao Cup, maybe not so much, but they blew it in the FA Cup, and they had, what, a 9-point lead, 12-point lead at one point in the Premier League, now down to 0 after 3 straight second-place finishes. If Arsenal don't win anything this year, Mikel Arteta is done, in my opinion. If they do win the Premier League, I think they might still let him go. If they win the Premier League and the Champions League, I think they gotta think Mikel Arteta stays unless he chooses to leave. But that's just my opinion. All right, there's a foul by Arsenal. Free kick for Newcastle. Willock looks like he's okay. Guimaraes. All the way out to Lewis Miley. Lewis Miley keeps it in bounds against Hincapié. In the corner. Good defending by Hincapié. Takes it away from Miley, but that was a foul by Miley on Hincapié, and that will be a free kick for Arsenal. Again, appreciate everybody that's watching me on TikTok Live. Again, my YouTube channel is Operation Smooth Podcast. I am on live on that channel as well as on here. There was a look at Calafiori, who's been injured. Long pass to Gyökeres. Nice move by Eze. Oh, that's another nice move. Murphy goes down on that. That really wasn't a challenge. That was just Eze doing a little spin move. Forces Murphy to go down, but it's back to Newcastle. Botman. Guimaraes. Willock. Dan Burn pushing up on the left touchline. Now to Miley. Miley with the cross in the penalty box. Miss header. Dan Burn with the long shot. Murphy missed the header. And Dan Burn, the left back, tries to make a left-footed shot. Wide. Thank you to everybody that's watching me again on TikTok Live. Appreciate all the likes. Follow my TikTok channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. And again, get on my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. And let me know what you think. Let me know what's on your mind. Back to the action. Ben White. Ben White's kind of had a quiet first half. Not a lot for him to do. David Raya. Arsenal using a lot more of the long ball here in this first half. Good pressure. Now Arsenal with a chance. Gabriel pushing forward. Could be a chance for Arsenal here. Back to Declan Rice. Zubamendi. Ben White. Madueke on the right touchline. Bottom right of your screen. He cuts inside. Back to Ben White. Madueke. Odegaard. Saliba. Zubamendi. Rice. Back to Zubamendi. Now Newcastle pushing up, trying to put some defensive pressure on. Odegaard. Newcastle looks like they're playing like a 2-3-5. Excuse me, 5-3-2. Ben White. Odegaard. Saliba back to Odegaard. Madueke. Odegaard. As we near the 40-minute mark of this first half. Odegaard. Gabriel. Declan Rice. Saliba. Now Zubamendi dropping back to try to support Saliba. Ben White. Zubamendi. Now Saliba drops back along with Gabriel. Now Arsenal basically retreating into their own penalty area. Ben White. Oh, that pass meant for Madueke. Intercepted by Dan Burn. Now Dan Burn cutting in. Tackled by William Saliba. But that's a foul on Guimaraes, and that'll be a free kick for Newcastle United. Nothing malicious on that tackle by Saliba. Just a regular foul. 5 minutes left in the first half. Obviously, Arsenal up 1-0. They've been a little bit better than Newcastle United, but if I'm being honest, they're not blowing Newcastle United out of the water. I think Arsenal is going to need another couple of goals in order to seal the deal. Also, understand now, Arsenal and Manchester City, they've got the same goal difference. So the more goals that Arsenal can score here, the more pressure they'll be able to put on Manchester City, and vice versa. Guimaraes, Tonali with the long shot blocked. That was Victor Gyökeres that blocked it. Now Guimaraes pressured by Madueke. Tonali gets it past Ben White. And that's off of Saliba. That'll be a throw in for Newcastle. Tottenham Hotspur, they beat Wolves. So Tottenham Hotspur get their first win of 2026. Finally. But with West Ham beating Everton, Tottenham are still in the relegation zone on top of Nottingham Forest's 5-0 demolition of Sunderland. It's a long pass by Pope all the way back to David Raya in the opposition penalty box. Now Saliba. Back to Gabriel. Zubamendi. Back to Hincapié. Hincapié back to Gabriel. Arsenal playing all the way back. Saliba. Just long, needs to long ball that. Gets it past a couple of defenders to the touchline, but all the way out to Botman. Botman to Thiaw. Lewis Miley. Guimaraes. Murphy. Intercepted by Arsenal. Zubamendi. Now Eze on the touchline. Miley wins that battle. Miley back to Thiaw to Guimaraes. That was good work by Lewis Miley. Guimaraes to Dan Burn. Dan Burn pressured by Madueke. Botman. Now Arsenal applying heavy pressure. Ben White almost steals that. Back to Burn. Botman. Good work by Ben White forcing the throw in. Dan Burn couldn't get to that. And now Ben White with the throw in. Madueke. Ben White. Okay, that's off of Ben White, and that'll be a throw in for Newcastle. As we near the end of the first half, Arsenal fans still looking nervous. Burn with the throw in. Ben White pushed to the ground, but foul on Arsenal, throwing for Newcastle. Osula trying to get there, but there's Gabriel. And that's a foul by Osula on Gabriel. So that'll be a free kick for Arsenal, but that free kick will be taken deep in Arsenal's own end of the pitch. Now, David Raya with the long ball, trying to get it to Gyökeres. Newcastle is there. Saliba, Declan Rice. Now Zubamendi tries to get it to Odegaard. Odegaard, I don't know who he's heading that ball to, but that's going to be out for a goal kick as we near the end of the first half. It'll be 3 minutes of stoppage time. Of this first half. Dan Burn. Tonali. Willock. Now back to Botman. Botman to Thiaw. Willock. Tiao, Miley, back to Tiao. Arsenal putting pressure. Declan Rice. Okay, almost gets the strip there. Now, Guimaraes. Murphy, met by Incapié. Oh, good defending by Incapié. Nice work. Nice defensive work. Now, back to Guimaraes. Intercepted by Odegaard. Good work. Now, can Arsenal push forward? Declan Rice, 3 Newcastle players there. And looks like that's off of Newcastle. So Declan Rice having a word with Murphy about that one. Looks like it's going to be a throw-in for Arsenal. Again, 3 minutes of stoppage time in the first half. 1-0 Arsenal. That goes all the way back to Gabriel. Gabriel to David Raya. Newcastle trying to apply pressure. Saliba with the long ball. Tries to get it to Gyökeres. Off the rebound. But that looks like that's a foul on Gyökeres. By Gyökeres. So that'll be a free kick for Newcastle United. Arsenal, they've been the better team, but let's be honest, they're not. I don't think they're being as dominant as maybe probably Arsenal fans would like. Again, thank you to everybody that's joining me on TikTok live. This is my first TikTok live in God knows how long. I'm still aware of the dynamics of how TikTok live works. And that's the whistle for halftime. So at the end of the first half, Arsenal with a goal in the 9th minute by Eberiche Eze lead Newcastle United 1-0. Let's take a look here at the lineups. I'm just gonna give you my thoughts on how each player has performed so far here in this so far here in the first half of this matchup. Obviously, Eberiche Eze, in my opinion, has been the star player with the goal in the 9th minute. I will say Martin Odegaard and Madueke, they played considerably better than what they did against Manchester City last week. Kai Havertz coming off injured. So far, Victor Gyökeres, really nothing in the first 10 minutes of that he's been on. Zubamendi and Declan Rice, I think, have been solid. The back four, as usual, particularly the 2 center backs, Gabriel and Saliba, have been strong. Piero Hincapié has been excellent in this first half, dealing with Murphy and with Lewis Miley. David Raya, a couple of saves, a really good one that he made. It was off a bad angle from a shot by Tonali. But other than that, he's been solid. Zubamendi and Rice. I think they've been a little bit better as the 2-man holding midfield than the 3-man midfield of Willock, Tonali, and Guimaraes. Looks like Willock and Guimaraes have switched from left to right. But Sandro Tonali has been, in my opinion, Newcastle United's best player in the first half. The front three of Ramsey, Osula, and Murphy, quite frankly, they're kind of stuck in the mud, in my opinion, in the first half. Pope, the goal that he gave up, really, I'm going to say it wasn't his fault. No substitutions made yet by Newcastle United. Victor Gyökeres comes on in the 34th minute. Let's see, is there any no look at any of the bench players? Hold that thought. Let me click that so I can show. so I can show all of you who's on the bench and who's not. Hold on just a second here. Here we go. For Arsenal, Kepa, he's not going to play. On their bench, you've got Christian Mosquera, Maz Lewis Skelly, Max Dowman. I think Max Dowman might come on in the second half, provide that boost. What a great game he had against Everton, but ever since then, not a lot of playing time. Obviously, Bukayo Saka, who's coming off the Achilles injury. You've got Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli, Leandro Trossard. If I'm being honest, I feel that Jesus, Martinelli, and Trossard will not be playing for the Gunners next season. And Martinelli has his moments of brilliance, but I just don't think that Martinelli is that dude. And Arsenal needs somebody better to back up Bukayo Saka. And they probably need a left that's a little bit better. For Newcastle, you got Kieran Trippier, Lewis Hall, Anthony Alanga, who man, he was sensational for Nottingham Forest last season. You've got Harvey Barnes, you've got Nick Waltermod, Sean Eve, Yohan Wissa, a couple of guys I've never heard of. Anthony Gordon is injured, and so is Emil Kraft. The injury to Anthony Gordon, obviously devastating to Newcastle United. So is the injury to Livramento, and then Joe Linton has been suspended for Arsenal. Jurian Timber has got a muscle injury; he'll be out till the beginning of next month. And Mikel Merino, who was really coming on strong. Sometimes Mikel Merino would play the striker role for Arsenal, and even though he's a natural midfielder, he actually did pretty well as a striker. He's out until until the end of the season. I'm pretty sure that Calafiori is injured. He's not listed on here, but again, so far the only sub for Arsenal in this matchup has been uh, Victor Gyökeres, who came on to pitch for Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz injured again, so we'll see how Kai Havertz recovers, and if he's able to play any more matches the rest of the season. I'll look at the live Premier League table right now. Arsenal, albeit temporarily, they are back on top with 73 points. Obviously, with this 1-0 lead, if they can hold on, they'll be back on top until Manchester City plays. I think Manchester City's next game is against Everton at Hill Dickinson Stadium. So Arsenal will be back on top with 73 points if they can hang on, followed by Manchester City, Manchester United. Listen, great job by Michael Carrick taking over for Bruno. I forgot his name now. I got his name right on the tip of his tongue. I'm not gonna say Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes is the captain. Man, get in the chat and remind me who oh my God, who was the manager of Manchester United before Michael Carrick took over? Oh crap. Damn it, I forgot now. Listen, I will say this about Liverpool. They did beat Crystal Palace 3-1 today. For all the adversity and for all their defensive frailties and for all their struggles that they've had this season, and obviously the rumors of Arne Slot getting the sack this season, Mo Salah is not going to come back. His final season as a Liverpool player. I got to give them props. There is a very, very large possibility that, in spite of everything that's happened, Liverpool might finish third this season. With everything that's happened, you're talking about a team that should probably finish seventh or eighth. They should probably be where Chelsea is at right now. And Chelsea, that's a whole other issue. That's a whole other conversation all in itself. Props to Brighton for they are in sixth place, and I think that they will hang on and they will get a European slot. Uh, I don't think they will be able to catch Aston Villa. So again, props to Aston Villa. They held on for a long time. They had their struggles. They did lose today to Fulham, but looks like Aston Villa will hang on for the final Champions League, barring something miraculous happening, barring an epic collapse. Chelsea, unbelievable. What has happened to Chelsea? They just fired Liam Senior. Embarrassing effort against Manchester City. Just an embarrassing season overall. I thought that Chelsea would take a big step forward and maybe finished fourth or third in the league. I didn't think that they were ready to win the Premier League, but I thought they'd finish third and fourth. And look at them now in eighth place. And depending on what happens in with the next results between maybe if Brentford, I don't know who Brentford is playing, but if Brentford were to win their game, Chelsea would fall all the way down to ninth. Brentford, actually, with a win, Brentford could go up to sixth place. Again, I'm not sure who Brentford is playing this weekend, but how about Brentford? They could go up to sixth place. Impressive. Let's take a look further down the table here. Again, Newcastle United sitting at 42 points. I think that they're safe with 4 games left. Tottenham Hotspur finally got a win. They beat Wolves, who are already relegated. At least they got that out the way. But West Ham, with their win, a 90 looks like a 92nd winner from Callum Wilson, and Brentford with the 2-1 win. Excuse me, West Ham with the 2-1 win. Props to them. So, with 4 matches remaining, Nottingham Forest, they're probably going to be safe. I don't know what their remaining schedule is. Leeds is safe. Newcastle is safe. Everybody else up there is really safe at this point. So I think it's going to come down to West Ham and Tottenham. One of those teams will go down. Unfortunately, they won't play head to head. I would love to see that maybe on the final day of the season, but I think West Ham won both matchups against Tottenham. I know Tottenham are going to play Chelsea. I think Tottenham will also play Aston Villa. Burnley and Wolves are already relegated. Can you imagine if Arsenal were to win the Premier League and Tottenham were to get relegated? Or what if Arsenal win the Premier League and the Champions League and Tottenham get relegated? Um, by the way, 2 great channels, Expressions and Henry Talks Tottenham. Those 2 channels for Tottenham, absolutely fantastic, fantastic channels. You guys got to get on those channels. So that's kind of a look at the bottom half of the table, and then of course at the top of the table, it all comes down to Arsenal and Man City. Man City, huge win last week. If had Arsenal won, they'd be sitting 6 points clear, but it's all down to them and Manchester City. So that's a look at the Premier League, table, and also I also gave you a look at lineups. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back here on the Operation Smooth podcast. All right, I am back on TikTok Live and on YouTube. This is the Operation Smooth podcast. I am doing a Arsenal versus Newcastle United watch along. Uh, After the first half, 1-0 Arsenal, a beautiful goal scored by Eberiche Eze in the ninth minute. Arsenal have been the better team, but if I'm being honest, they're not blowing Newcastle United out of the water. Newcastle United still with an opportunity to tie this game and win this game. And if Newcastle United were to win this game, oh my goodness, you think the pressure's on Mikel Arteta now? Imagine what would happen if Arsenal have another home loss. This time to Newcastle United. Arsenal players getting back on the pitch. The second half will begin momentarily. For this second half, Arsenal, the home team in the red, they will be attacking from right to left on your screen. Newcastle, the visitors, in their traditional white and black strip, they will be attacking from left to right. There's a look at the goal scorer, Eberiche Eze, who joined Arsenal from Crystal Palace. He started off rough, but he's been coming into his own. Again, he should have never been substituted against Manchester City. There's a look at Victor Gyökeres, who came on for the injured Kai Havertz. I see Victor Gyökeres needs to do something here in this game to try to get himself established again as the starting striker for Arsenal. There's some last second instructions, last second huddle by the captain, Martin Odegaard. Arsenal need to really score some more goals here and put the goal difference pressure on Manchester City. Again, Manchester City will not play in the Premier League this weekend. They will play in the FA Cup. They are playing Southampton. I believe that game is tomorrow. And then next week, they will travel to Hill Dickinson Stadium to play Everton. All right, we are about to get ready to start the second half. Willock will kick off for Newcastle in just a second here. And we'll get ready for the second half of match day 34 of the 2025-26 Barclays Premier League season. There's kickoff. And the second half begins. Throw in for Arsenal. Long throw in by Ben White, but looks like that's going to be offsides. Again, for anybody that's watching me on TikTok Live, join me on my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. Get in the chat. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, come on now. This TikTok drives me crazy. All right, back to Pope. Let's see what Newcastle can possibly come up with here in this second half. Tonali. What is this? No, I don't want to do that. Oh, good sliding tackle there. There's Willock. Stupid screen. Now Newcastle, Guimares. Back to Guimares. Newcastle with an early attack. Murphy tries to cross it off of Hincapié. Oh my God, what is going on with my TikTok here? It's not letting me. It's acting up. Okay, so now we've got a goal kick for Arsenal. Why are these buttons not working? Okay, I'm gonna assume I'm still on. This pisses me off. All right, David Raya with the long kick. Odegaard winning that scramble. Gyökeres. Okay, Gyökeres in the penalty area, battling Botman. Now to Incapie on the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Gabriel. Zubamendi. Ben White. Madueke against Dan Burn, cutting inside. Madueke. Back to Ben White. Saliba. Ben White with the cross. Incapie with the shot. Oh, Eze missed the header. Cleared by Tonali. Now it's all the way back to Saliba. Osula wins that battle. Nice tackle by Saliba. Off of Saliba. Throw in for Newcastle. Now Lewis Miley. Murphy. Back to Botman. Guimares. Dang, my screen completely just lost its mind here. Miley. Botman. Now Ramsey cutting inside to Guimares. Miley. Guimares. Tiao. Murphy on the right wing. Miley again. Guimares. Miley. With the cross. Murphy. Oh, tries to get to Osula, but there's William Saliba. And Gabriel heads it back. It's Incapie. And it looks like that's offsides against Newcastle. And now Ebericha Eze is down. So Ebericha Eze right now down with a injury. It's the second injury for Arsenal. Let me see if I can. What is going on with this phone? All right, I guess that's what happens when you're on live. Right, it's kind of hard to. Can't really tell what the injury is. Looks like Gabriel Martinelli is warming up. So looks like that might be it for Eberiche Eze, who scored the goal to give Arsenal the lead in the 9th minute. There's a look at the fan reaction to that goal. Looks like Eze is going to come off. He is done for the day. So another injury for Arsenal. So Gabriel Martinelli is going to come on. And looks like he's going to go on the left where Eze was. Eze having a word with Mikel Arteta to see what's wrong. Goal kick. And that's a foul by Gyökeres on Dan Burn. That'll be a free kick for Newcastle United. So far this opening to the second half, no real attack yet by Newcastle United. Miley back to Botman. Botman tries to pass, but picked up by Arsenal. Work by Ben White to Declan Rice, who's battles Guimaraes. Manchester United will host Brentford on Tuesday afternoon. If Brentford win, they can move up to sixth. That'll be quite impressive if Brentford can pull that off. Okay, that'll be a free kick for Arsenal. Odegaard. Nope, Ben Rice. Declan Rice takes it. Ooh, over everybody. That's offside against Arsenal. And that will be. Ooh, I don't know if that was offsides or not. But doesn't look like it went off of anybody. So that will be a goal kick for Newcastle United. So Pope will take that kick. Headed by Saliba. Gyökeres battling Dan Burn. Goes back to Pope. Pope to Tiao. Tiao. The long pass. Met by Hincapié. Back to Saliba. Ben White. Ben White sends it to no man's land. And that'll be a throw-in for Newcastle United. Nani Madueke has had a better game than he did last week. That's out. That'll be another throw-in. But this time looks like it'll be a throw-in for the Gunners. Burn. Okay, Gyökeres. Oh, he was clearly pulled down by the shirt. And that'll be a yellow card for Dan Burn. Burn having a word with Gyökeres. Gyökeres won the header. I mean, that was kind of light, but if you look at it in real time, it definitely looked like Dan Burn pulled Victor Gyökeres. So now it's going to be a free kick. It's going to be on the top of the top of the side of the penalty area. Man, what the heck is going on with this? Hope I haven't lost my signal on TikTok here. Okay. Madueke, left-footed shot. Blocked. Newcastle. Madueke wins the speed battle there against Murphy. Now back to Raya. Now Raya to Declan Rice. Declan Rice, acres of space. Can Arsenal make something of it? Declan Rice crosses it, but Burn is there. But it goes to Ben White. Ben White to Madueke. Stays on side. Madueke crosses it into the penalty area. Caught by Pope. Long kick. Zubamendi sends it back to David Raya. And now Arsenal with a chance to regroup as we near the 60-minute point of this matchup. Arsenal leading Newcastle United 1-0 live from Emirates Stadium in London, England. Back to Zubamendi. Zubamendi back to David Raya. Raya. Long ball to Gyökeres. Met by Botman. But Hincapié there applying pressure. However, Newcastle win that one. Now Murphy. Murphy triple team sends it out to Sandro Tonali. And Botman is still down. All right, here's what I'm going to have to do here because, man, this, doggone it, this TikTok live. Ah. All right, there's a look at Eddie Howe. I have to cut off that string a second. Okay, 60 minutes in, still 1-0 Arsenal. Tonali. All right, Botman comes back on the pitch. All right, I'm back. Hallelujah. All right, I won't be touching any more buttons on this live. That's for sure. All right, Newcastle trying to mount an attack. Miley, but now they're going backward. Guimares hit by Gyökeres. Guimares is still down. The ball goes all the way back to David Raya. Guimares still down, but referee doesn't stop the game. And now Odegaard on the right side to Madueke. Madueke double team though, and Dan Burn wins that battle. And that looks like that's gonna be a corner for Arsenal. Guimares back up, upset with the ref that the ref didn't stop the game. So that looks like that's going to be a corner for Arsenal. Look at Eze, who came off injured. So this will be Arsenal's first corner of the second half. Arsenal will be taking this corner from the top left-hand corner of your screen. Arsenal attacking from right to left. There's Noni Madueke. Can Arsenal get another goal from a set piece? Short corner. Back to Madueke. Madueke blocked, but there's Ben White. Oh, that could have been a handball in the penalty area. Nothing called. Back to Declan Rice, and Declan Rice sends it all the way back to David Raya. Raya, that's kick is too long. Goes to Pope. Arsenal looks like they're in a bit of a rut here. Okay, that looks like that was not a handball. Okay, looks like we're gonna have a substitution for Newcastle. Looks like Barnes is going to come on for the Magpies. Guimaraes pressured by Odegaard. Now Tiao. Lewis Miley almost goes out. Murphy touched that with his hand. So that'll be in favor of Arsenal. Again, everybody that's watching me on TikTok Live, join me on my YouTube channel, Operation Smooth Podcast. Looks like Newcastle's gonna put in a couple of substitutes. For what I'm looking at, you might see Joan Wisa, number 9, and looks like Harvey Barnes might come on for Newcastle as well. But we'll see. Back to David Raya. David Raya tries to get it to Victor Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres hasn't. I don't think he's won one aerial battle this match. Dan Burn moving up to Lewis Miley. Tiao back to Botman. But Dan Burn is not there. He's on the other side of the pitch. Ramsey. Now Arsenal get the ball back. Zubimendi. Declan Rice. There's a chance. Rice. Oh, he should have shot it. And he is stripped by, looks like Tiao. Now to Lewis Miley. Now Newcastle with a chance to counterattack. Osula gets by Hincapié. But there's Gabriel. Tonali with a shot blocked by Gabriel. And that's out, and that's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle. Oh, Declan Rice, you should have shot that. Missed opportunity. So now looks like there's going to be a double substitution for Newcastle United. Murphy is coming off. Harvey Barnes is coming on for Newcastle. Osula, who really hasn't done anything, he's coming off. And number 9, Yohan Wissa, coming for Osula. Throwing for Newcastle deep in Arsenal's half. Cleared out of the area by Gyökeres. Now, Gyökeres hustling, putting pressure on Tonali. Good work by Gyökeres. Wins the ball back. Martinelli. Back to Gyökeres. Good defensive work by Gyökeres. Now Arsenal back in possession. Goes all the way back to Gabriel. Zubimendi dropping it back deep into the support. Now, Martin Odegaard with space. Arsenal with an opportunity here. But Odegaard is held off. By Guimaraes. Now, all the way back out to Madueke, and the ref signals for offsides. So Newcastle back in possession. Sandro Tonali. Lewis Miley. Midway through the second half. Willock. Wisa begging for the ball, doesn't get it. Guimaraes. Harvey Barnes. Back to Guimaraes. Guimares back to Harvey Barnes. Cross met by Gabriel to Martinelli. Declan Rice clears it out. Harvey Barnes again. Back to Tia. Botman. Now Guimares tries to get it to Wisa. Unsuccessfully. Incapia's there. He clears it. Martinelli. Foul by Martinelli on Bruno Guimares. Now tension is beginning to rise at the Emirates. Newcastle with the free kick. Well outside of the penalty area. Guimares will take the kick into the penalty area. Too strong. David Raya is there. Arsenal with a chance to counterattack. And look at this. Gabriel Martinelli. What a throw by David Raya. Now Martinelli's there, met by Sandro Tonali. Tonali holds him up. Ooh, that's a grab of the shirt there. Nothing called. To Ben White. Ben White. Odegaard. Martinelli. Zubimendi. Back to Martinelli. Martinelli. Gabriel. Declan Rice. Now Arsenal's defenders pushing forward. Gabriel just outside of the penalty area. Zubimendi. Martin Odegaard. Madueke against Ramsey. Odegaard. He crosses it. Gyökeres to Martinelli. Shot is blocked. Declan Rice. Piero Hincapié. Declan Rice. Zubimendi. Unsuccessful pass. But it goes out to Declan Rice. Hincapié. Martinelli. Hincapié. Back to Martinelli. Hincapié. Can't do anything, really. And now Arsenal going backwards. Gabriel almost stripped. Martinelli. He is stripped. And that's a foul by Martinelli. He's going to get a yellow card for that. That's with the tackle on Willock. Not a malicious tackle, but it was worthy of a yellow card. And now with 20 minutes left, you got to wonder if Arsenal can maintain control of this game. Even though they're up 1-0, it's a game that they really, really have not been in complete control of throughout this afternoon. Newcastle. Oh, that was almost stolen there by Gabriel. Back to Newcastle. Guimares. Guimares slips. That's not a foul. Now Odegaard. Zubimendi tries to hoof it to Gyökeres, but that's probably a shot that Zubimendi should have taken as opposed to try to pass it to Gyökeres. Mikel Arteta not happy, but nevertheless, Arsenal still up 1-0, and at this point, I guess all that matters is the 3 points. But again, Arsenal not looking dominant. They're not looking like maybe the Arsenal of maybe 23-24. Back to Raya. Raya. Long pass to Thiaw for Newcastle. Harvey Barnes. Good play by Hincapié. Good defense. Odegaard. Gabriel. Back to Raya. Raya slips as he releases, but goes back to Odegaard now. Zubamendi to Madueke. Madueke on the wing against Botman. Cuts inside. Madueke. Zubamendi. Shot was weak. It was partially blocked too. But still a good effort. Now, Newcastle trying to get going. Miley. Back to Tonali. Sandro Tonali's been absolutely fantastic for Newcastle. And really so have the center backs. Now, Dan Burn, who's on a yellow. Guimares. Oh, ooh, Newcastle. Almost. But now Arsenal cleared it out. Oh, Gyökeres. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that should be a red card right there on that foul. The goalkeeper Pope clearly fouls Gyökeres well outside of the penalty area. That's going to be a yellow. That probably should be a red card. Man, that was some suspect goalkeeping. Pope goes well out of his Nick Pope well outside of the penalty area. He tries to kick it out, slips, and that would have been an open door for Gyökeres, but Pope holds him. And again, that probably warrants a red card. Kepa had the same issue in the Carabao Cup final. VAR is going to take a look at that for a possible red card. Referee is saying no. Ooh, that's suspect to me. So the VR decides no red card. Looks like Nick Woltemade is going to come on for Newcastle. Bruno Guimares, the captain, go out. So Newcastle looking for an attacking presence in Nick Woltemade. So that'll be a free kick for Arsenal. 15 minutes left. I think Arsenal probably need a goal or two just to put a little pressure on Man City. And then, of course, later this week, I believe Tuesday or Wednesday, Arsenal will play the first leg of the Champions League semifinal against Atletico Madrid. Looks like Bukayo Saka might come on. He's putting his jersey on. Free kick to Arsenal. Declan Rice. No one touches it, and that'll be a goal kick for Newcastle United with 15 minutes left in this matchup, plus stoppage time. Goal kick by Nick Pope. Oh, ooh, that almost got fed and flat to Newcastle, but it goes all the way back to Nick Pope. To Botman. It's a long kick, but Gabriel is there. Goes into Arsenal's penalty box. There's David Raya. Sends it to Saliba. Saliba pushing forward. Saliba continues to push forward to the middle of the pitch. Loses possession, but there's Gabriel. Declan Rice. Ben White. Noni Madueke gets past Dan Byrne. Byrne recovers. Madueke. White to Odegaard. Odegaard surrounded by three Newcastle players. Loses possession. Ramsey with the takeaway. Back to Botman. Botman fighting off Gyökeres. That's off of Zubamendi. Throwing for Newcastle. Willock to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes cutting inside, gets past Incapié to Lewis Miley. Miley holds it. Harvey Barnes on the wing against Incapié again. He cuts inside. Miley. Now Miley met by Incapié. Tiao. Miley. All the way back to Botman near the center circle. Tiao. Miley. Sandro Tonali. Botman. Tiao. Willock in space in the middle. Walterman. Teresa, and he missed it. I don't know if that's offsides or not, but Wisa missed a golden opportunity to tie the game. Let's see, was he? Oh no, he was onside. Wisa just absolutely missed it. Oh, that was awful. But again, Arsenal showing cracks near the end of this game. And now looks like Martin Zubamendi is coming for Arsenal. And so is Noni Madueke. Okay, we got Miles Lewis Skelly coming on for Zubamendi, and Bakayo Saka coming back from his Achilles injury. He's coming in for Madueke. Let's see if Saka coming on provides the inspiration necessary to put this game to bed. Saliba. Good defending, holding off Wisa to Gabriel. Gabriel with the long ball. Gyökeres doesn't win it, but there's Odegaard. Martinelli. Guess who? Bakayo Saka against Dan Byrne. Cuts inside, of course. Shot. Ooh, just missed. Looks like that's off of Newcastle. So that will, looks like that's going to be a corner for Arsenal. Off the foot of Dan Byrne. And now Arsenal looking to put this game away. If they can get another goal here, I don't see Newcastle coming back. This will be Arsenal's fifth corner of this game and their second corner of the second half. Declan Rice will take the corner from the bottom left corner of your screen. Oh, looks like that. Oh, somebody met. Oh, the bicycle kick by Martinelli, but saved by Pope. No, that would have sent the Emirates into a frenzy. Martinelli whiffed on the first shot and then tried the bicycle kick. It was dead center, though, but saved by Pope. Now Newcastle, Willock. Tiao. Now Lewis Miley on the wing, met by Martinelli. Chow. Tonali back to Tiao. Tiao looking across it. all the way to the other side to Ramsey. Willock is open on the wing for Newcastle. Now all the way out to Harvey Barnes. If this results holds, Arsenal will be back atop the Premier League temporarily. Harvey Barnes. Uh-oh. Oh, headed by Dan Burn, but David Raya is right there. It's probably Newcastle's other best chance of this second half. Right to David Raya. Long ball. Again, Gyökeres. Gyökeres holds up. Good work by Gyökeres. Now to Saka. Martinelli. Miles Lewis-Skelly. Back to Bukayo Saka. Saka falls there, but Odegaard. Gyökeres. Shot. Blocked by Botman, and that'll be another corner for Arsenal. And now looks like Arsenal is looking a little more intent to try to put this game away and to get that second goal. So another corner for Arsenal. I believe this will be the third corner for Arsenal in the second half. Saka will take the corner from the top left corner of your screen. Can Arsenal put this game to bed? Okay, looks like Ben White got pushed. Now Gabriel and Dan Burn having a little conference there in the penalty box. Now the Newcastle United players out there having something to say. He was shoved by Thiaw. Now the referee having a word with Thiaw and with Ben White. No more shenanigans. As we near the 85th minute. Saka with the corner. Okay, let's. All right, there's going to be a substitution. Yellow card for Declan Rice. Alanga is going to come on for Willock. Quite frankly, Willock did not have much of an impact on this game for Newcastle. 4 minutes left plus stoppage time. Botman, Tonali. Alanga picked off by Nkapie. Good dribbling by Nkapie. Now Arsenal with a chance to counter. Martinelli. Team. Oh, Nkapie missed it, but Odegaard is there. Gabriel. Saliba. Ben White. Bukayo Saka. Saka against Dan Burn. Cuts inside. Odegaard. Odegaard shoots. Good save by Pope, and that'll be another corner for Arsenal. Now Arsenal really kicking it in stride. That was going to win too. That was going to go in on the. That was going to go just inside of the post. Now Arsenal, they've kind of got Newcastle on their heels right now. Arsenal looking for that second goal to finish this. Saka with the corner. on the top left corner. Cleared up by Harvey Barnes. Lewis Skelly. Odegaard. Saka tries the low cross. Blocked. And that's going to be off of Martin Odegaard, and that's going to be a goal kick for Newcastle United. As we head into the 88th minute, pressure by Arsenal. Botman, Tiao, Lewis Miley, Sandro Tonali, back to Miley, Walterman, but Lewis Skelly is there. Holds off Walterman, but Tonali holds off Lewis Skelly. Now, Walterman. Good sliding tackle by Ngapié. Uh-oh. And that's a foul by Wisa on Ngapié in the area. That'll be a free kick for Arsenal. Oh, Ngapié had the right idea to try to pass it to Gabriel, but there was a bit of a mess there. Having said that, it's a foul by Wisa on Ngapié. So it'll be a free kick for Arsenal. It'll be a minute left plus whatever stoppage time is available. Tries to get it to Gyökeres. Now Saka to Declan Rice to Ben White. Where's Saka? That pass is too long. Dan Burn takes a tumble there, and that's a foul. By Bukayo Saka. Still a lot of concern on the faces of the Gunners faithful. Let's see as we head into the 90th minute, see how many minutes of stoppage time we're looking at. Saka. Gyökeres wins that one. Martinelli. But Tonali is there. And we just hit the 90-minute mark. Good Lord, 7 minutes of stoppage time. Miley. Chow. Back Pope. Ramsey. Goes out all the way back to Saliba. Martinelli. Odegaard. Back to Gabriel. Gabriel tries to send it along, but to Tiao for Newcastle. Now Miley. Alanga had a chance there, but he was followed by Ngapié. I don't think there'll be any more subs in this matchup. Now Dan Burn. Ramsey. Burn. It's off of Saka. Throw in for Newcastle. I know Arsenal will be happy with the 1-0 win, but they just probably wish they could have scored a couple more goals here. As we're about to end this watch along. Throw in by Burn in the penalty area. Raya easily claims that. Sends it out to Declan Rice. Rice. Good pass to Ngapié. Tries to get around Alanga. No foul. Miley. Oh, there's a little kick between Gabriel and Walterman, but that's a foul. Free kick for Newcastle, just below the center circle. Okay, that wasn't meant to be a count towards Walterman. So Newcastle still has a chance to tie this game and really just mess things up for Arsenal. So Arsenal would go up 1 point instead of three. But let's see if the Gunners can hold on here. About 4.5 minutes left of stoppage time. Tonali. Okay. Cleared out. Now Tonali to Alanga. Alanga against Hincapié. Alanga. Hincapié. Good sliding tackle. Good defending by Piero Hincapié. He might have saved the game there. And now that goes all the way out to Gyökeres on the counter. Oh, Ramsey saved that pass. That pass was going right to Saka. That was going to be goal, the second goal of the game. Now Newcastle still with a chance. Alanga. Looks like Harvey Barnes moved to the other side of the pitch. To the left side. Alanga's attacking from the right side. He sends it into the penalty box, but cleared by Arsenal. Sent out by Hincapié. I guess at this point, yeah, look at that Arsenal fan just shaking her head. In frustration because Arsenal, just a lack of goal scoring firepower. And that'll be a throw in for Arsenal. I'm sitting here in the United States watching this matchup, and I can feel the tension from thousands of miles away. So I can imagine how it must feel like at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal not out of the woods yet in this matchup. Declan Rice just sent it to Gyökeres. Odegaard, pass was too strong for towards Dan Burn. Now Wolterman, Newcastle, but Declan Rice, good defensive work. Oh, but that pass was not good enough. Now Sandro Tonali to Lewis Miley. Maybe one last chance for Newcastle. Now Thiago's on the wing. Met by Martinelli. Miley, the cross. Cleared by Ben White. Out to Dan Burn. Burn to not to Barnes. To Ramsey. Tonali. Oh, that shot off of Lewis Skelly, and that's going to be a corner for Newcastle United. Still one last shot for the Magpies. A little over a minute left in stoppage time. Okay, looks like Pope is not gonna he's not gonna push forward. There's the corner. Hincapié is there. But now Martinelli with a chance, but Alanga beats him to the punch. And Pope clears it out. Hincapié again. Martinelli. Oh, nice pass. Tries to get it to Declan Rice. Rice gets it. Fights off Lewis Miley. Crosses it. Oh, that cross is too strong. That's going to be out for a goal kick, but that might be just enough for Arsenal to walk away with the 3 points. About 30 seconds left in stoppage time. Tension at the Emirates Stadium. Pope with the goal kick. Back to Newcastle. Gabriel clears it. Wolterman. Alanga. Met by Hincapié. That's a foul. That's a free kick for Newcastle. Piero Hincapié not happy. But this will probably be the last kick of the match. Can the Gunners hold on and reclaim, albeit temporarily, the lead in the Barclays Premier League? A win here will bring some relief to Arsenal at this point, but let's be honest, not a stellar performance by any means. So here we go. The last this will be the last kick of the match. Tonali, free kick into the penalty area, cleared by Arsenal. And that's it. Arsenal hang on. Not by much, but they do win 1-0 with a ninth-minute goal by Ebericha Eze. And you can see the exhaustion on the Arsenal players. But right now, as it stands right now, Arsenal with the win. They are back on top of the Barclays Premier League table. 22 wins, 7 draws, and 5 losses. A plus 38 goal differential with the 1-0 win this afternoon over Newcastle United. For Newcastle, they will stay in 14th with 42 points. Again, Newcastle United playing for nothing but pride. Disappointing year for them. Arsenal back on top of the Premier League. Manchester City, a game in hand. They've got games against Crystal. I know they'll play Crystal Palace. That game has not been scheduled yet. They've got Aston Villa. They've got Everton. They've got Bournemouth. I'm not sure who their last opponent is going to be. Technically speaking, Arsenal's schedule on paper is easier than Manchester City's schedule, but that +1 goal difference that we have right now might be a little bit of an issue for Arsenal. So that's going to wrap things up here on the Operation Smooth podcast. Thank you to everybody that watched me today on TikTok Live and on YouTube. Again, Arsenal beat Newcastle United 1-0, and they go back atop the Premier League with a 3-point lead over Manchester City, even though City have a game in hand. This has been the Operation Smooth podcast. Thank you very much, everybody, and I am out.